ResortLoop.com is proud to be sponsored by Joffrey's Coffee and Tea Company. Joffrey's now offers coffee subscriptions. You can order a 3, 6, or 12-month subscription. You can choose from 3 collections: the Flavored Coffee Collection, the Roastmasters Collection, or the Disney Signature Coffee Collection. Each collection includes 3 bags per month. With the Joffrey's Coffee subscriptions, never run out of great coffee again. Learn more and order at Joffreys.com.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
We are now approaching the Contemporary Resort Hotel. If you are exiting and would like to reboard the monorail later today, please receive a hand stamp as you exit the platform.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining us. I'm Tim Scott. This is ResortLoop.com, the gateway to the magic. Let me check my button over here. We are recording the show. We don't have to start this over. It's like the Jungle Cruise. Once you leave the dock, you have to keep going deeper and deeper into the show. This is the DVC Roundtable. Joining us today, Miss Emily Hansa-Hicks.
Well, hello, everyone.
Mr. Joe Quattrochi.
Tim, how are you this fine fall evening?
Oh, I'm so fantastic. Thank you for asking. I'm feeling very autumnal. And also joining us, Mr. Brad Coates.
Hey, everybody.
The team's together. We're missing Rebecca Toon. Unfortunately, she came up with a little bit of extra work she had to finish out today. I believe it was involving guidelines or rules. We really don't know. But we miss her.
Stuff ever.
So we got a lot of news. We even have a question coming up at the end of the show. Emily, would you like to start us off?
Sure. And you know what? I think we should start on a downbeat so that we have nowhere to go but up.
Love it.
Let's first talk about these layoffs.
Oh.
I know a lot of people are struggling right now, and Disney employees are no exception. The recent round of the Disney layoffs, they're warning that they may impact the rate of response when dealing with DVC. The reports are that 279 DVC cast members will be laid off beginning December 4th of this year, and 244 of those are located at the Team Disney building at Lake Buena Vista, and 35 are in Celebration. The 279 from DVC included in the 6,700 layoffs. Those were the ones that were previously announced for Walt Disney World. So they were included in that number. And yeah, so I mean, I have some thoughts about this. I wonder, one of the things that this makes me think about is our dues, and just how who is getting paid from our dues and who is not getting paid from our dues. And when they make decisions about layoffs, are they doing so with positions that are funded by dues or not? I don't know. What do you guys think? Because this is and of course, our hearts go out to all of these employees. And I, of course, will not be thinking negatively about the wait time and while people are struggling to pay their bills. So So anybody who's listening that is a DVC member or a DVC employee that has lost their job right now, we are sorry for you and for your family, and we're thinking of you right now because you, of course, have made our vacation so wonderful for so long. But yeah, so guys, I'm thinking dues though. Like, how do they make those decisions? Are those positions completely funded by dues? If they're not, like, I assume they're not laying off. If they're laying off salespeople, I assume those are not dues funded positions, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at some stuff that was online before, Emily, and it says like sales associates, guides. Those seem like those are from like Disney Vacation Club, like corporate, I guess. They're selling the units. They're not like the people maybe running the condo association and the day to day. What's the word? Oh my God, Tim, I'm having a hard time today. The day-to-day functions of the properties, the operation stuff. So, I mean, I'm not 100% sure of that. I'm not like completely in the know, but that's what I'm thinking, on the surface. It still stinks. You don't want to see anybody lose their jobs. For somebody who, I've said this on this show, I've had timeshares in Aruba and at Orange Lake in Orlando as well, our family, and also living in HOAs, not only in New Jersey, but here in Florida. It's very rare that dues will go down. I mean, if there's a surplus at the end of the year, they'll hopefully put that in reserves, but I doubt it. Taxes are still due.
Right.
Electricity's still on. Grass still needs to be cut. They're still doing they're still renovations. Like for example, to Saratoga Springs, they're still doing renovations to that resort. Things are still functioning, even though they're not open,
Right.
and they're actually losing revenue because they're not getting, if they're renting out the cash rooms or whatever. I'm sure they're not bringing in extra revenue like they would be. Even though they're not fully staffed. So I mean, I don't think dues will go down. But as far as those dues relating to the employees laid off, I'm not 100% sure about that. But Brad, what are your thoughts about that? Fill in the blanks for me there.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty much a blank stare here. No, but no, I think you're. Here's the thing. It was about 4 months ago. There was a big rumor floating around talking about they were going, and they actually had made the comment from DVC about the possibility of some type of a lowered cost or a rebate and And I think we even discussed it at that time, saying, yeah, that sounds good, but in the end, they've had to spend a lot of money also on refitting places to meet COVID requirements. And, there's been, even though they weren't having to repaint and fix things that were being used a lot, there was still a lot of activity going on and new things that were costing. So I don't think there's any way there'll be any kind of a refund. My only concern with the ones that they're describing here when you read this story is, it says the recent round of Disney layoffs may impact the rate of response. So,
right.
the dial-in guides. Yeah, the dial-in guides, which are they? I understand, like you said, I get it. The others that would probably be paid out of corporate, but I would have thought those guys were being paid out of our dues, but I don't know.
I would think just by 101 here. Member services that we as the members would be paying or supplementing those salaries. So that's what I'm thinking, that those people, what I'm saying? I mean, who knows if they're supplemented, Emily, right? They might be supplemented, but I would think that it's no different than if you're in an HOA and you have a front office or that you have a staff that deals with all of the landscapers or whatever, they're paid by your HOA dues, you know what I'm saying? So that's, I'm thinking it's the exact same thing. As somebody, I consider myself pretty technologically savvy. I do all of my DVC bookings on my Disney experience and on the laptop. However, the one thing I use member services every year for is banking my points, because I screwed it up once. And even though I have 2 contracts with the same use year, I still mess it up sometimes. So those cast members are integral to my sanity. So they are important. They are important regardless. It's nice to have them there. If I have any problems, I'm not out on an island by myself. So it's hopefully, the cast, those cast members won't be, hopefully we won't see a reduction in those, because I think there's a lot of people like me out there that utilize them as well.
Right.
Yeah,
and then to clear. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, and Emily, so that comes back to I think where you were going with it was just pointing out, well, listen, if we're paying their salaries and our dues aren't going down and ours are staying the same, we're still paying them. Couldn't they find a way to keep those guys employed if we're the ones paying their salary?
Exactly.
That would be my struggle. But
right. Yeah,
we're not going to change it no matter how much we think it or complain.
Right.
It is.
It just confuses me, because I don't think, like we said, I don't think there's going to be a dues refund or anything like that. And so then I am confused by why member services, and again, maybe that's just a misleading headline from this article. Maybe it doesn't come from any sort of actual knowledge, but instead comes from a hook kind of thing. Like a good.
It may be that they're paid not through us. So so we're going on that assumption.
Yeah.
Right. But I think in the past year since we've been doing this, the service has just gone up incredibly at member services, in my experience. The wait times are much shorter. It seems like everybody I talk to is really cheerful and willing to help. And not that they weren't before, but there was much longer wait time.
I agree. They've gone up, and then the dial-in Disney World crew has gone down, because they're hiring out. They're hiring people that aren't legacy people. So anyway, oh well.
Right.
Well, I'm happy to keep paying dues if it keeps people in their jobs. I'm telling you.
Yeah, so me too.
I just hope that our DVC people aren't affected too much. So it looks like some are.
Yep.
Well,
And on that happy note.
On that happy note, I'll move us on to something that it's I won't say it's happy or it's sad. It's just, but it is it's a verification. A while back, maybe a month ago or so, we talked here on the podcast about the rumor that was out that there was going to be another change in the minimum membership that you had to have in order to get your blue card. Just as a reminder to everybody, as a DVC member, if you buy direct from DVC and you buy the right number of points, you receive a membership card, a blue card, a physical card. That physical card is what you will need in order to take advantage of the different options. What word I'm looking for? The gimmies, the gifts,
the membership extras.
Yeah, little membership extras like discounts at restaurants and discounts in the stores and special events. And well, to get all those, you have, as a DVC discount, you have to have that blue card. So before, I think originally, when we talked about this once before, I think, wasn't it, Joe, in the beginning, it was like 50 points you had to buy, a contract minimum.
I think it was as low as 20. Was it low as 25 at one time? A long time? I don't know, but it was definitely 50. Yeah, 50. It's just gone up. Like
I think when I was looking at it, it had to be 50, and then it went up to 75, and now it's up to 125. It is now verified. If you buy direct from Disney Vacation Club, you must now buy a minimum of 125 points, effective of October 19th, in order to receive the bonus. Oh no, it used to be you had to have 100 points. Now you have to buy 125 points. So yeah, I think it was 50, then it was 75, then it was 100, and now it's 125. So now, as always, for those of you that already have a blue card, there's no reason for us to think that this would be different than any other time. I have 2 blue cards. My second card does not qualify for any of the parameters that have gone on for the last 3 or 4, but it's grandfathered in. So it's still good, because when I got it, it was it was eligible at the time, so it remains eligible. So if you have a blue card, but you bought a contract less than 125 points to get your blue card, we're pretty confident that you will still have access with your blue card, because that'll be grandfathered in.
Hey, Brad, just speaking of blue card, I was kind of thinking, I don't know about yours. I think everybody's blue cards expire on the same date, and they just reissue new types of cards. I'm on my second type of card. The one I had before this was it was grayish and blue, but it was mostly grayish and blue. But wouldn't it be nice if they came up with like an RFID DVC card, kind of like an annual pass?
Oh, yeah.
Where I could just tap, like you could tap and your discounts applied right there. And if you want to go up to the top of the world, you just tap right there. I mean, I know kind of people say, well, it's in your Magic Band too, but a lot of times the stuff doesn't transfer over to the Magic Band, you know what I'm saying? But if you had like a RFID blue card, bam, everything's on there. You can just tap it. Hey, DVC members, tap here to get into the lounge. And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that could be a way that you would tap it and automatically give you the discount. Now you have to use your Magic Band to pay, and then you got to give them the card to get your discount, and that'd be kind of cool.
It would just be nice if the blue card actually did more than just exist. If it actually had a function.
The only thing is,
go ahead.
I was going to say they also pair it with your ID. Usually, they also want to check to make sure your name and your photo ID match.
That's true.
I have no problem with that, but they do that with annual pass stuff right now. But it would just be nice to have like a functioning blue card. You know what I'm saying? Like, like I said, everything costs money. But I mean, in theory, you have RFID cards that are annual pass cards, so it's just make the card stock blue. And but I don't know. I'm just kind of thinking about that. We know about how important this blue card is, but it really doesn't do anything. It's just like a symbol. You know what I'm saying? Really.
Yeah. To go back to the first part of your when you started the question, though, you mentioned about how often do they change out the cards, and that's something I did notice, and I actually spoke to them. It's been a while ago, so I don't remember exactly what they said, but there's no set time. They don't. It's not like they're set to expire. Just every once in a while they produce a new one, and
mine has a date on it though, Brad. I don't. It's downstairs. I'm upstairs recording right now, but mine has a date on it. Yeah, expiration date.
I do think that they expire, but I think that the reason that they reissued the blue ones, I thought that those were like anniversary kind of ones. Weren't they paired with an anniversary? I thought they were.
I don't
20th
I know that. I know they changed the logo again or whatever it was.
Because I can tell you, I had a card, and on the front, it had not expired by the number. But when I went to use it, they said that you have to have the new blue card, the newer card. I went, but it's not expired. They said, yeah, you still have to have the newer card. So I had to go onto the DVC site and get the virtual one to show them.
Isn't that
It was weird. Yeah,
like,
it's kind of dumb.
Like, what does that do that the other one doesn't do? They both have like your member number and your name on them. And,
Exactly.
And the virtual, I guess it means that you're currently, I suppose what it could mean is that you are currently a member. Although I think they look you up anyway to make sure you haven't sold your contract.
Exactly. I mean, you're not like, or somebody who's not in good standing.
Using it.
You know,
you gave it to somebody else.
But it's funny, speaking about cards, there was a story that was put out about DVC owners. That's a nice transition. DVC owners, being able to. Good. I just wanted to, it'd be good if I didn't have to point that out. But DVC owners will soon be able to, and this is from our friends at DVCnews.com. DVC owners will soon be able to pay and set up their annual dues to auto pay from a credit card. So right now, if you to pay your dues, like I pay mine every year by credit card. I do mine in one shot, in January, and I put them on the credit card because for me, I have a lot of travel cards, and DVC consists as travel for me, and I get triple points with my Chase, But owners right now will be able to enter their credit card information on the members only website, and the fees will be charged in one lump sum on the due date of the dues. The new payment setup is expected to launch in November. Initially, it was rumored that a monthly payment option would be available, but that was not announced and is not available. And I think that's probably for a few reasons. Number one is I'm sure most people know this, but every time you use your credit card, the merchant pays a set fee to Visa, MasterCard, American Express. That's why a lot of places don't accept American Express, as they have the highest merchant fee. So the more times that your credit card is charged, the more that they're going to be paying in merchant fees. That's why a lot of places don't even take credit cards for rent and stuff. I know my apartment in Virginia does, but I end up paying like a decent fee if I ever have to use it. So that's probably why one of the reasons they don't want to do the monthly thing is because of merchant fees. I mean, because they're going to be picking up the cost for that. And that's why some places actually also, if you go to certain stores, like, $35 minimum fee because they're paying they don't want you going there and buying a pack of gum and charge it on the credit card. They're not making anything. So, but Disney Vacation Club's annual dues will cover the property's expenses, such as housekeeping, theme park transportation, property taxes, building upkeep, and more. 2021 dues are expected to be released in November and ratified in December. Now, personally speaking, in regards to using a credit card, I'm a big credit card junkie. Jen and I do a lot of traveling. We have a lot of various different types of credit cards. We actually will split our dues in half, just so I get some points, she gets some points. It doesn't sound like you'll be able to do this now, but if that is something you want to do, you have to call up member services, and they will split your dues in half for you. You just have to request it and have both credit cards ready to do that. With this automatic thing, it sounds like it's just going to be one card entered in on the site, kind of like you have already in your My Disney experience saved, and they'll probably ding it like, I guess in November. My theory is it's like I would wait till the very last minute to pay it, as long as set a date on your calendar, because why pay it early if you don't have to? It's kind of like paying your taxes. Why pay them early? You're not getting anything, back for it. So hold on to your money longer than you can. So, but that's my theory about that. You guys have any thoughts about paying dues with credit cards? And
that triggered two thoughts for me. First of all, some people know you can do this. Some people don't know you can do this, but you can do that. You can pay your dues with Disney gift cards.
Absolutely.
And yes, if you are like a Target Red Card member, sometimes I think you can get 5% off of Disney gift cards because they count as travel or entertainment, one of the two. And
you can.
Yeah. So you can technically, if you pay your dues with gift cards, you can theoretically save 5%. And one other comment, just based on what you were saying, Joe, and the interchange fees on the credit cards, you're absolutely right. But it is worth pointing out that it may be illegal for some merchants to charge you a fee. I'm not anybody's lawyer, and I'm not licensed in probably most of the jurisdiction that we're on the call with. But a lot of the contracts that the Visa or MasterCard or the banks will have with the merchants to use the cards expressly say they can't charge an additional fee to use the card. So when you see those, you don't have to ever do anything about it, but that's not necessarily completely contractually okay. But again, it's their contractual issue, not like a criminal matter or anything. So.
And the only other input I would give on this auto pay is I always pay. Joe, we've talked about this before, Joe. I pay everything with my credit card that I possibly can because I have a rewards card, and that I get double points and on any kind of travel expense. So I haven't paid for an airfare in quite some time because I just use my credit. But I did. But this is you don't have to wait till November to sign up. They actually started this a couple of weeks ago, and I'm already signed up. I went while you were talking to make sure onto my DVC account, and it says enrolled in auto pay. Your next payment will be January 15th, 2021. So I'm already enrolled. So you can enroll if it's something somebody's interested in. Go ahead and do it. My thing is, I have a tendency to get going. It's not one of those things I pay every month. And so it's just easier for me to tell it, go ahead and pay it. And then I pay off my credit card in full every month. So as soon as I see it pop on the card, I'll know. If I have to pull a little over from savings to pay it, I'll do it. But I usually don't have to. And then it's done and taken care of. So, but yeah, I did enroll for it. So,
and everybody's situation is different. I'm sorry,
it's all different.
Jump on you. But it's one of those things. If you can, like Emily's a proponent of going to Target and saving the 5% on buying the Disney gift cards, and you can go to Sam's Club to do it. But if you want to go the credit card route, if that works for you, just put some money away every month. We're not here to tell you how to spend your money, but it makes it just a lot easier. And if you get something back for it, like I know with me, DVC, everything in Disney for me is considered a travel credit. And with Chase, I get great rewards. I've been with them for a long time. And it's like, why not? For me, I vest myself more with the rewards because I use it to go travel the place I fly so much. For me, the points are worth it. So if my dues are $1,000, hey, I'll take 3,000 points. Thank you very much. So,
Exactly.
And just so I'm honest, we're too lazy to actually always do the we do the gift card thing for cruises, but we have not done it for dues actually because we're just too lazy to do it for. I think it's a small enough increment. I think in our due scale that we just pay out of our bank account monthly.
And Emily, one last thing about and you seem to be more versed. I'm not a big Disney gift card guy. I get them for stocking stuffers here and there, but I don't really use them that often. But is it still true where you could take the multiple gift cards and enter them electronically onto one gift card number?
Yes, although you're capped at $1,000 per gift card, so you have to, But you can do that multiple times. That
would be fantastic because everybody's dues are different. Everybody's got a different amount of points, and their maintenance rates are different. So if you're going to go the gift card route, instead of sitting on the phone and giving the cast member 14 gift cards, whatever, you can consolidate them to one or two. That might be a lot easier to get through the transaction. So
yeah, I've booked a few clients that booked cruises that paid for it with their cards.
Please tell me they consolidated it.
And well, the first time that I did it, that wasn't available yet. So I had to sit there and literally one by one give that poor. But after that, though, they would send them to me, and I had to consolidate them. Right. But it still takes a lot of time to consolidate them, but it just makes it simpler when you go to pay online. It's way quicker, simpler.
So I got a quick funny story. A couple of years ago, and Jen and I stayed at the Polynesian for when we were at our DVC points. I remember rolling through the Great Ceremonial House. We were going somewhere. We were picking up an Uber or Lyft, and I remember seeing this guy at the counter because when you're walking out the front entrance, and he had a stack of red Mickey Mouse gift cards, and the cast member looked like they wanted to pull their hair out, and I think he was paying his bill, and it literally looked like he had 5 decks of cards with him. There was a stack, and I don't know if they were $50 gift cards. But I was just like, oh my god,
wow. I think. We actually, if any of our listeners have any ideas, we actually have so many stacks of those 50s from the cruises when I felt like it was worth the time to do all that. So I'd sit there in front of it like a movie or something, and I'd just be idly entering and combining the gift cards, and then we'd make incremental payments, things like that. But if anybody has any idea, we saved all the gift cards because we felt like it seemed like a shame to throw away all this Disney merchandise, right? So we made some magnets and like.
As long as they're all empty,
right?
As long as they're not left on them.
These? Like we could wallpaper like a small wall.
Make a garland out of it.
I was gonna say, make a garland for your tree out of it.
Yeah, punch some holes in it, put some string through it. There you go. So.
That'd be awesome.
Fun idea. I like it, and it'll go on the one with the magic bands.
The only problem is your kids will see the tree and go, "Score! We're rich."
Where are we going?
There ain't nothing on them.
When do we leave?
Right.
Oh yeah, if you go to DisneyGiftCard.com, right under there's a transfer balance option, so you can consolidate there.
Perfect.
So there you
Tim's
go.
always got the answers.
Yeah, I know a couple things here and there.
Good stuff.
Oh, Emily, you want to take us away with? Not take us away,
sure.
But go with the next story.
Absolutely. I would love to tell you about the one-time use points. So, if you guys are familiar with it, this story comes out of DVCnews.com. Sorry, I forgot to mention that the first story about the layoffs came from WDWMagic.com. So this basically the one-time use points have been the system's been enhanced so that you can more easily use those. One-time use points are those that you can be purchased for $19 each directly from DVC. So if you're just a couple of points shy, you can. I've actually considered this, never done it. You can use them only for that single trip when the owner falls short of the amount of points they need. You can only purchase up to 24. And this article says that they're $19 each. I could have sworn they were $25 each, but I'll take it. And this purchase says originally it can only be made by contacting DVC member services. And once the points are in the account, they're available to use, and they can only be used at the 7-month mark with no home resort priority granted. This, however, I think what they're going to do is they're actually going to make you be able to see those online now. Let's see, the one-time use points and transferred points are not going to be displayed in the overview, but they will be available for booking. So I don't think it's super clear. It looks like you can use these online, but do you guys think that this is super clear as to whether or not you're actually going to be able to see them?
It sounds like they're there, but you can't see them. Is kind of what my takeaway.
Yeah.
And you have to use them right away.
So then the question is, can you book with them online, or do you need to then, or do you need to call member services? I think we'll probably just have to wait and see what it looks like when it rolls out. But it does look like.
I think.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think what the way that I read it was that that you couldn't buy them online, that you had to contact member services. But then once you've bought them, somehow they're going to be available for you to book online. That's why they were bringing up the whole point of it being online now.
Got it.
That was my understanding. Because it would make no sense to be like, oh, I bought a few extra points. I have to call back up now to use them. Like it'd be like, okay, they're dumped in your account, but.
Yeah, but you got to call to buy them. You can't buy them online. You have to actually call in to buy them. Then they'll apply to your account, and then you'll be able to use them. I think
you could book a $10,000 vacation online, but you can't buy 15 points. DVC portal.
And by the way, and one other just caveat, because I'm the person with the unimportant information today. Emily. Actually, the cost of points was $17. They just went up by 2.
Oh, well,
go down.
What have I been doing all these years?
I don't know. You've been paying too much if you were paying $25 a point. I'm telling you.
Or
somebody saw you coming.
Right.
But yeah, actually, I remember reading an article just a couple of weeks ago that it had gone up. It was 17 and it went up to 19. So
wow.
I mean, if you're just a little short, that's a pretty good deal considering that.
Still a good deal. Yeah.
Rental points are.
That's why I was aware of it, because I thought on my trip that I was setting up before the last one got canceled that I was going to have to actually rent about 10 points to do what I wanted to do. So I started looking into it, and that's when I saw that it had just gone up, but ended up then they, of course, canceled another one on me. So there you go.
Oh,
actually, my situation canceled another one on me. Disney didn't, but.
It is what it is, right?
But I'm going to Hawaii, whether they like it or not.
Oh, they like it.
They can tell me I can't come home. I'm good. I'll just stay.
Strand me in Hawaii. It's so sad.
Yep.
I'm willing to quarantine in Hawaii if I have to.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to take one for the team.
Yeah. If I just fly there, can I then get quarantined there? Do you think?
Oh my goodness. All right. Before we wrap up the show, we have a question from a listener, Super Looper, Sydney Seeger. Her question for the DVC Roundtable is, we are thinking about renting DVC points later on down the road to stay at the Animal Kingdom Lodge in Kidani Village. My question is, how would park tickets work? How would we get them? And the dining plan, can we get that, or would not be able to get the Disney dining plan renting points? Guys, first let's go with the park tickets. How does she go about getting them if she's renting points?
Well, with the park tickets, she just has to have a My Disney Experience account.
Mm-hmm.
And then once she's rented a DVC rental, doesn't matter, she'll have a reservation number. When she enters that into her My Disney Experience, her hotel stay will pop up in her My Disney Experience. And she just buys her tickets inside My Disney Experience. Everything will tie together.
Yep.
Awesome. And assuming, because we don't know how far down the road this is, but I heard that the theme park reservations are extended to 2022. Is that what everyone else has heard?
That's what they said. Yep. Going to be around a while.
Well, hopefully not that long, but hopefully they'll work
hope
park
the
hopping.
fast passes come back before then, if that's the case, because wow, no park hopping and the crowds are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And they say Disney did come out last week and say they have not increased, because everybody was assuming they had increased to 50% capacity, and they're saying no, we didn't. So it's just enough people are finally coming that the full 25% are actually starting to show up.
Yeah, that's interesting.
They're already getting packed. 50-minute waits for everything.
Yeah, I think they've shifted some of the availability from hotel resort guests to more annual pass holders. And
yes, yeah,
you know,
I think so.
By the way,
Locals.
yeah. And one of the things, Brian, I just wanted to follow up, and I don't mean to switch gears here real quick and just to address Sydney's things, is also too is I don't think you have to necessarily buy your tickets through My Disney Experience. Like, for example, if Sydney is a Florida resident and she rents DVC points, I know you could buy special Disney World tickets at like Publix or like Target, that they only sell. So you would just enter the information on the back of like the card that you would buy after it's activated into your My Disney Experience, and then that would just link your tickets. So just don't buy them on the roadside gas station. That's the only thing we don't recommend here.
I have, and that does work. I bought a lot of undercover tourist passes in the past,
but they're like legit. That's a legitimate,
super legit.
Yeah, they're reputable.
So as soon as they send you the ticket, you have the number, you go to My Disney Experience, you add that number in, now it links to everything. So yeah, through My Disney Experience, everything links. Now back to your dining plan question though.
Yes.
For the person, if you're renting points, then you hopefully you are renting from a reputable DVC point rental company. You can rent from individuals. I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm just saying, it's a little bit different. It's riskier. Buyer beware. But I have often rented my points through rental companies, and they will contact me and say, I have a client who wants this, this, this. They want the dining plan. And so whoever you rent the points from, they will give you the opportunity to buy the dining plan, and they'll book it. The person who owns the points will need to book the dining plan for you. But if you go through a reputable company, like if you're renting my points through this rental company, I would make the reservations, but you guys would pay for it. So,
gotcha. So best opportunity here is to go through an actual agency who specializes in that, keeps everything on the QT.
Right. And just a larger answer to the question, you cannot get packages when you're renting for DVC. It's not like you can get your park tickets and your
not anymore.
Food
not anymore.
So,
nope.
Yeah, so if you're hearing an ad that's saying there's free dining and, park ticket package, that's not going to be available if you're renting DVC. That's separate. You're going to have to go through. You may be able to get a DVC unit as part of that package through Disney, but you're not going to be able to do that as a renter through a private individual or a broker type company.
Gotcha.
Buyer beware.
Absolutely.
As you said, if you see those. So.
Sydney, thank you for the question. Let us know what you end up doing. We'd like to help you if you have any other questions for your trip. We'd love to help you out.
Yeah, and if you've got a DVC unit, depending on what size you get, you may not even need the dining plan because they do have those kitchens. So consider that when you're deciding whether or not to get it in the first place.
Anybody have anything else they want to wrap up with before we get out of here?
One last thing.
Yeah.
I've been following the progress of my beloved Polynesian Great Ceremonial House. So far, so good. It hasn't been a complete mess. So her plastic surgery hasn't been too bad yet. So I've been following this closely.
I have too. It actually doesn't look too bad, but we're not seeing a lot yet.
I haven't seen a lot yet, but I've been following it closely. So I know I had my moment a few shows ago, but I've been very eagerly following the progress. So that's about it, Tim.
Exciting. That's good stuff.
I have one last comment.
Oh, go ahead, Brad.
California governor, let Disneyland open. Okay,
Let my Disneyland open.
let my people go.
Let the people come.
To Disneyland.
This is depressing, but doesn't anybody else sometimes wonder, like, between the not being able to do races really there and like it, sometimes I think, like, how long is Disneyland viable there? Am I the only one who ever thinks that?
I think that all the time, Emily, but I don't know if this is the right forum.
Sorry, I shouldn't have said it.
And I can, and being being the one on the panel who's the big Disneyland guy.
Yeah,
I never think that.
Go
there, see how packed it is.
In all seriousness,
it'll be packed.
In all seriousness, I do feel I'm not the biggest Disneyland fan. I've been there a couple of times. I had a great time running the races there. But as somebody who quasi lives close to Walt Disney World now, that's my park. I feel bad for the people there. Like, that's like their spot that they go, because I remember after a couple of months during the shutdown, how like I would look at Jen and be like, yeah, I'm just itchy just to go to like Disney Springs, just to like grab a beer and walk around. Like, granted, it stinks with the masks on. I understand that. That's the new reality. But people in Southern California and in the West Coast don't have anything right now. So we feel for you, all the Disneyland peeps out there. Like, I hope that, like, you know, whatever Gavin Newsom's, you know, I know he sent some people out to Disney World that they could maybe see, hey, this can work. Disney's being as responsible as they can, but, you know, only time will tell. We'll see what happens. But we feel for them.
Doing better than Florida by a lot. So
we feel for you guys. You know, we're lucky we have our park open, and you guys on the West Coast don't yet. So we're thinking about
sorry, Emily, did I misunderstand? Were you asking about whether races were done at Disneyland or Disneyland?
I was just thinking. Now, I have never been to Disneyland, but I was just thinking that sometimes it seems like things aren't going its way.
They have a lot of problems overall. They have a lot of problems with government.
They do. They do.
The state of California.
But they've had that for couple decades, and
hence Reedy Creek, right? They at least accomplished half of that in Florida. So.
Exactly. So it'll plug on, it'll keep going, and it'll stay packed, and it'll have its attraction just like Disney World does. It's a very different park. Now, I'm not sure races were going to ever come back to Disneyland. We'll see. I mean, it was great to race out there, wasn't it, Joe? And it wasn't bad. I prefer to do.
I'm glad I did it. I don't think it's ever coming back.
No,
we're lucky if we get Run Disney back in Orlando at this point.
Yeah,
so.
Disney World is just a way better, easier way to do a run. Disneyland, it's just difficult. You're running city streets.
It's a lot more coordination.
Yeah.
But anyway. I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Yes. I rest my case.
I didn't mean to cast a pall in Disneyland. I hope to be there someday.
I'll come back with my verdict on a future show. Right. We'll wrap up this show.
Guys. I'm full of bad news.
Thanks, guys. Another great show. Emily, if somebody wants to find you, talk to you, have any further information for you, where can they find you?
Resort Loop or Looper Nation Live. I'm Emily Jean on Facebook. And I'd be happy to chat with any of you. Would love it. And that's pretty much the best place.
Awesome. Mr. Joe Quattrochi.
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram at Joe Quat, and also over at the Mickey Dudes podcast.
All right. And Mr. Brad Coates.
All right. And Papa Mouse 1 on Twitter. You'll find me in the Resort Loop Live area, as well as on the podcast with my DVC Points.
With our good friend
Chad Pinnick.
Absolutely. And I'm Tim Scott. Facebook, Twitter, the website, ResortLoop.com. If you have a question for the DVC Roundtable, look us up over there at Looper Nation Live, or, of course, Tim at ResortLoop.com. Everybody, you've been listening to The Gateway to the Magic. Take us out, guys.
Take it out, Joe.
Everybody. See you, everybody.
Attaboy. See you, everybody.
Vacation memories will stay with you and your family for a lifetime. The Resort Loop Travel Group was created with this in mind. Our fee-free services will relieve you of the stress and confusion of finding and booking the best vacation at the best price. After booking, we will continue to monitor for ways to save you even more on your vacation. We will check for any upcoming packages and discounts to save you as many vacation dollars as possible. Resort Loop Travel Group, gateway to your magical vacation memories. Get a quote, or for more information, visit ResortLoop.com.